Hi everybody. I'd like to give you a little bit of help with abbreviated truth tables. For that, we'll go to the Logic Tutor and just solve the first problem. Remember what an abbreviated truth table is for. The basic idea is to figure out that an argument is invalid or else valid in the quickest possible way, not by filling out the entire truth table, which is sometimes long and tedious, but just by looking for the one line that will show that it's not valid. And the way you do that is you look for a way to make the conclusion false while the premises are true. Now for the exercises in 7.4a, what you're supposed to do is to show that they're invalid. And they're nice. They won't cheat you. They're not trying to be tricky. They all are invalid. So you know there's a way to do it. There's a way to show that every single one of these in 7.4a is invalid. But let's take a look at one of them. This is the first one. The argument is, if A then, if B then C, therefore, if B then C. Now how do we go about it? Well, first, we want to set a value for the conclusion. We want the conclusion to turn out to be false. And so we stick in a false under the arrow. Now, how can a conditional, if B then C, how can that be false? Well, the answer is there's only one way that a conditional can be false. It can be false when the antecedent is true and the conclusion is false. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a T under the B and an F under the C. But now that we've done that, we have to fill in those same values. We've got to be consistent elsewhere. And we've got that if B then C also in the premises. So under B, we're going to put T. Under the arrow, we're going to put F. Under the C, we're going to put F. Now, we've got, that's also part of a larger conditional. If A then, if B then C. And we want that conditional to be true because we want the premise to be true and the conclusion false in order to show that this is not valid. So we want that conditional to be true, and so under the arrow we want to mark that true. Now what does A have to be in order for there to be a false conclusion and a true conditional? We've got the conclusion if B then C, or I'm sorry, not conclusion, consequent. We've got a consequent if B then C. What does A have to be? If it's given that if B then C is false. The answer is A has to be false also. Now we go over here onto this side. We've established values for every one of the letters. For A, we know that A is false. We know that B is true. And we know that C is false. Those are the values we've assigned. Now, we click our button. We've got a value that leaves the premise true and the conclusion false. So that must be an invalid argument. Click the button for invalid, and we get confirmation from Logic Tutor. The argument is invalid. I hope that helps.